Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, today we'll start our next topic that is associated with management. As we have discussed many different aspects of business, management is an important phase, or you can say important area of business, and you cannot imagine a business without management. So, management is actually something which help the organization, or which help the entrepreneur or a manager to do all the activities of the business in a proper way and achieve the organization goal by getting things done by the people or organizing all the assets of the business. So management is an important function of, or important area of the business, which is very much important. In the next few slides, we will be discussing management and what are different functions of management and what are different perspectives which are very much important in the management. So first of all, what is management? In a very simple definition, we can say management is getting things done through others. Within the organization, we have different people who are working, and we have to complete a task through these people. So management is a function which help a manager to get things done through these people who are working in the organization. And this management function is being performed by a manager who is appointed at different levels of the organization. And the main purpose of a manager is to achieve the major tasks of the organization or major activities of the business in order to complete all the activities on time. And basically the ultimate goal of a manager is to achieve the organization goal. So a manager is there to practice all the functions of management in order to achieve the objectives of the organization, in order to achieve the main purpose for the of the existence of the business. There are different functions of a manager. Like for example, the first function of a manager is planning. As we know, planning is something which is done before the things actually being executed. So planning is the function which can be defined as thinking for the future. Like you cannot start any business haphazardly. You have to make plan for your business. You have to arrange different resources of the business. You have to see the different time frames which are available for you. You have to see different knowledge resources available for you. You have to see different information resources, physical resources, and human resources available for the organization. And based upon that, organization develop their plans. And this is the function of a manager, to develop organization plan to achieve the goal of the organization. Then another important aspects of management or a manager is that they have to perform the function of organizing. Like the main purpose of management function is to achieve the organization goals. And in order to achieve the organization goal, they have to first plan for all the activities. And all the activities are useless if they are not being performed, or if they are not executed properly. So organizing is actually a function which help to execute all the activities of the organization. And they have to make decision about activities performed by the worker. The main function of organizing is to divide each and every activity of the organization, and assign tasks, assign resources, and assign responsibilities and authorities to each worker, or the each employee working in the organization. And if you have a large organization, you have to group that activities in certain heads. Like if there are certain activities which are related to marketing, like promotion or advertising and all those things, or if there are certain activities which are related to finance function, like which is mostly related to making decision regarding collection, payments and all those things, or if they are related to accounting, like recording the or according the or bookkeeping of the organization. So or procurement, in which you are going to purchase different supplies and inventory for the organization. So all these activities are grouped according to their main head, and these activities are performed under that heads. And another important function of organizing is delegation of authority, because when you are assigning responsibilities to the people, you are assigning them something that have to be performed, and if you do not assign them authority, they will not be able to perform those activities. So you have to give them authority regarding certain human resource, or regarding certain physical resources, in order to complete the task, or in order to complete the assigned activities. So these are certain major aspect or major activities under the organizing function of the manager. Now, other functions of manager is staffing. Staffing is actually a function in which manager hires people and fills the vacant position in the organization, because there are certain tasks which has to be done, and there are deficiency of people for performing those tasks. So in order to complete that task, the manager has to appoint, or he has to hire people to fill these positions. Then another important function is coordination, because when you are working in the organization and being as a manager, the manager has to manage all the activities, and basically the manager has to coordinate different resources. As when you are in the organization, you have information resources, you have a human resource, you have information resource, you have physical resources. So the coordination between these resources is very much important, because you have to appoint people, and you have to equip them with proper equipment, or with proper physical resources, with proper information. You have to give them proper information, and you have to appoint them at appropriate places. So all these things need coordination between resources, and coordination between different level of managers and different level of organizational hierarchy. So coordination is another important function of a manager. Then communication, because without communication the manager cannot perform his duties, and obviously without proper communication the workers and employees who are under the supervision of a manager cannot complete their tasks. So they have to receive information from various resources, and these information are of different types. Like you can get information regarding complaints from your customers, or you can get information regarding necessary changes which have to be done in your product or service, or many other kind of information from various resources. Like when there is change in technology, or when there is a change in the climate, or there are certain other things which can impact the organization. So they receive information from different resources, and they have to process that information. They have to they have to get this information to the proper people who are who have to react to that information, or which who are the people who can deal with that information. Then dissemination of information, like when there is change in plan, or when there are certain SOPs regarding certain activities. So these are the information which has to be disseminate means that you have to spread the information. You have to make the information reach to the people who need that information. So you have to disseminate information within the organization and outside the organization as well, because information, there are certain information which is very much important for the reputation of the organization. So the manager is there to communicate information within the organization and outside the organization, which might impact the image of the organization. Then distribution of information, take that information from various resources and place this information to different areas or for different people who need that information. So communication is very much important function of the organization, or for important function of a manager to fulfill his managerial duties. Then another important function of a manager is conflict handling. As the manager is dealing with different kind of resources, the most difficult resource which is difficult to manage is human resource, because this resource is unpredictable. So when different people work together, so there is chances of conflict. The manager is there to handle those conflicts and make the environment of the organization such that these conflicts are being resolved smoothly as possible. Then negotiation is very much important. The manager has to appoint people and they have to negotiate with the new employees about their salaries, or when there are certain issues with their labor unions or with the labor, so they can negotiate with these different labor unions. Or there are certain suppliers or certain customers through which due to which you have to make negotiation regarding the prices, make a negotiation regarding the availability of your product. So all these are the function of your organization. Then resource allocation, have to make the resources available to the right people at right time. So these resources can be properly utilized and there would be no delays in the availability of resources. So you have to, as being a manager, you have to allot resources to proper people at proper places and at a proper time. Then another important function of a manager is that they have to control the deviation within your organization. Like when we talk about planning, so planning is something which has to be done in future, and the manager has to make plan, and that what kind of activities they want to achieve in future, and what type of deliverables they want to achieve in their organization. So after that these plannings has to be executed. The controlling function is the function in which you have to see that whether all the execution are done according to plan or not. So they can be certain that the organization is moving at the right direction, or whether there is certain deviation. Like deviation means that you are not doing according to planning and you are deviating of, or you are not obeying, or you cannot complying with the plans made by the managers. So there are certain deviation, and you have to find out whether there is certain deficiency in the planning, or whether there are the people who are responsible for for not accomplishing the proper task, or not complying with those plans. So in that case, you have to find out whether you have to make correction in the plans, or whether you have to take corrective action in order to take the people to the right direction and accomplish the task according to your plan. So this is the major function of controlling your monitoring and evaluation is there, and you are continuously making comparison between the planning and execution, and finding the deviations to make corrective actions or to take necessary action regarding certain deviations. Then by being a manager, it's very important that the manager should have certain specific skills which will help them to make to do all the managerial functions and perform the task of the organization, or to fulfill the objectives of the organization. So first skill which is very much important for a manager is its conceptual skill. um, and conceptual skill is something that will help you to understand a different situation, understand that how you can accomplish certain tasks, and what are the necessary activities which have to be performed in order to achieve your goals, and how you can make different plan, and how you can organize the activities of the organization, like how you will assign tasks to different people, and you have to ascertain that what are the people and who are the most capable people who will able to execute the activity according to plan. And you have to organize all the activities, you have to groups their different activities. So he should have a conceptual skill which will help them to perform the planning and organizing activities. Then second important function of a manager is, or you can do certain important skills which will be required by the managers in order to perform its managerial function, is its interpersonal skill. As interpersonal skill is important for interaction between people, because being a manager you are continuously in contact with your people, with your employees. You are constantly in contact with your higher ups, your CEO, your managers, your upper manager, your higher level managers. So continuously you are dealing with people. So it's very important that you should have an interpersonal skill, that how you can interact with your employees, how you can make good relation with your employees, how you can interact with your peer groups, like the people who are working with you as your colleagues. So how you can interact with them, and how you can communicate with your upper level managers, and report them about your subordinates, to ascertain that what corrective action should be needed, or what kind of planning activities should be performed by the upper level manager in order to take in order to deal with these employees. So interpersonal skills is very much important. Then technical skills is also very much important, because being a manager, you there are different areas of the business, like marketing, like accounting, finance. So the manager is there, and if he is appointed to a certain department, he should have a technical knowledge of that department, because you have to get things done by the people. And if he do not he's not able to understand the operation and process of that particular department, he will not be able to perform his managerial activities of that department. So technical skills is very important. He should have a knowledge of process and operations of that particular department in which he is responsible to perform his duties. So technical skills should be there in order to perform the managerial function. As we were discussing management, and we all know that this management function is being performed by a manager, and there are different functions which is being performed by managers. So all these things are being done because the organization wants to achieve its goal. And what is these goals, and what are these goals? So these goals are actually a destination where a company wants to reach. And these are like a certain they have a certain vision in mind, that they want to achieve certain target. So these targets are your goals, and all the managerial functions and all the activities of a manager are obviously are directed towards these goals, and all the planning is being done according to these goals. So the goals are very much important, and it's very much important that the manager should have a clear understanding of the goals which are being designed by the corporate level managers. And another important aspect is your strategy, or another important dimension of your planning is your strategy. A strategy is a set of plans for long-term orientation. Like then you can say that goal is where you want to get, and strategy is a roadmap or a certain collection of your plans and activity which will help you to achieve that goals. So these perspective and these things are very much important while you are designing your major goals, or when you are designing or you're making the vision of your company, or whether if you want to start your business. So you should have a clear goal in mind, that what is your target, and when you are starting your business, what is your goal and where you want to reach. And strategy will help you to achieve that goal, that what kind of a pathway or what kind of set of goals, a set of plans you should pursue for achieving your long term success, or which will help you to achieve that goals which you have in mind of your organization. Then when we talk about strategies, so at organization level we have different levels of strategy. When we talk about a management, or when we talk about managers, so we have the different levels of manager. Like we have managers at a very higher level, which are the managers at top level of the organization, and that made plans, and they who are responsible for making plan for the whole organization. Then we have middle level managers who are there to make interaction, or who are there to achieve the strategies and goals at a middle level. And then we have lower level manager who directly interact with operating employees, or with the workers, and with the laborers, in order to achieve the lower level goals of the organization. So as we have different levels of management, we have different levels of strategies as well. Like first of all, we have corporate level strategy. And when we talk about corporate level is a level which is the most higher level of the organization, in which we have mostly CEOs or owners, or head of different department, and they are the people who design plans and the other activities for the whole organization. So the strategies designed at this level are being designed for the whole organization, that what each department had to pursue, and overall what are the goals of the organization, then collectively where they want to go, what type of business they want to pursue, what collection of businesses they want to pursue, what should be the portfolio of the organization. Like a portfolio is the different collection of your businesses, like whether you want to enter into a paper business or a textile business, or collection of different types of business. So that is called as a portfolio of business. So corporate level strategy is there, which decide about the overall organization, that whether we want to pursue, whether you want to take what type of business you want to pursue, and what kind of goals you would want to achieve in the long term future. Then we have strategic business units. These strategic business units are mostly middle level middle level management, or we can say middle level of the organization, which is there to make strategies for their each business unit. Like if you have collection of business, so SBUs, or strategic business unit, is actually a one business unit which make planning or strategies for that particular unit. But these are actually part of the organization, but they are being treated as a separate business, but within the jurisdiction of your whole organization. Then they have functional level, operational level strategies. When we talk about functional level, so and functional levels are the departments of a particular organization, and there are these strategies are being designed for each department. Like we have human resource department, we have marketing department, we have finance department, we have procurement department, you have different manufacturing department. So because mostly the operating workers, or the workers who are actually working, who are actually are making their valuable contribution in the operation of the business, are working in their working in the organization. So these the strategies which are being designed for each department are actually called as functional level or operating level strategies. So the level these are actually the level at which all functions or operations are performed. So this level strategies are designed for each department and each operations. Then we have different objectives of goal setting, because when we are setting goals, it's we have to ascertain, and we have to understand that why we are setting these goals, why we have to set a particular or a very clarified target for achievement. Because there are certain benefits of having a very clear goal. Like goal give us direction, because when you don't have a clear goal in mind, or when you don't have a clear direction in your mind, you will never be able to achieve that target. So first benefit of having a clear and a well designed goal is that it will provide us direction for your future. And not only that, it will also help all the people who are working with you in your organization, whether it is at upper level, it is at mid intermediate level, it is at lower level, or it is at whether they are your operating employees. When you have a clear goal in mind, and this goal is clearly communicated with different all the level of the people who are working at every level of the organization, so it provides a direction. And once this direction is communicated, it will be a unified direction which will help the organization to achieve its goal more appropriately and more timely. Then second thing is resource allocation. Because when you have a clear goal in mind, so you can properly acquire a proper resources which is there to achieve your goals. And obviously you know you know the potentials of different people who are working with you, so you can allot them different resources which will contribute in the achievement of your goals. Then setting culture of the organization, as we have discussed, that once you have a clear goal in mind, second thing is that you should communicate this goal to the people who are working with you in the organization, as being an employee or being a manager at different level. So it set a culture of the organization. Because when we talk about a culture of organization, or we can call it as a corporate culture, it's very much important. Because the collaborative culture and a culture participative culture will always contribute to a goal, achievement of goal, or a significant achievement of goal. Then assessment of performance. As when you have a clear goal in mind, and when you have communicated this goal, it's also important that you should assess the performance of the people who are contributing in achievement of that goal. As you have assigned them resources, as you have communicated them your desired achievement, or desired objectives, or desired goals. So if they are not working appropriately, so you can assess that they are not doing good, or if they are significantly contributing, and it will help you to assess the performance, because clear goal is there, and the people are there to achieve that goals. So if they are not able to achieve these goals, so it will give you an assessment that they are not complying with the desired performance level which you are which you have required from them. So clear goal setting will also help you for assessment of performance of different people or different managers who are working at different levels of the organization. Now, mission statement. Before we can discuss a mission statement, it's very important that we should go through vision statement. Like a vision statement is something which is the perspective of the organization where they want to see their organization after 20 to 25 years. And the vision statement is the highest level of planning or highest level of the organizational goal, which provide the direction to the whole organization, and based upon that the organization design their mission statement. As a mission statement is not very not very far-sighted like vision statement, because vision statement is a generalized kind of the statement which will provide a long-term vision, but mission statement is something which will provide the direction for the organization, and it will provide a purpose of survival of organization. It will provide that in what kind of business the organization is going to strive, and what kind of business they'll pursue, and what kind of customer they'll target, what kind of resources they're going to acquire, in which kind of area they'll operate, what type of objectives they will pursue, what type of employee treatment, or what type of employees strategies they're going to pursue, like HR policies they'll to pursue, and what would be their relation with their employees and their customer and with other stakeholders. So all these things are clearly specified in the mission statement of the organization. As it's a journal statement and it is written in terms of customer satisfaction, that how they will they'll going to satisfy their customer, how they're going to fulfill the needs and wants of their customer, what quality of life they're going to provide to their employees, like what type of organization culture they're going to pursue within the organization, and what they'll do for the service of humanity, like what type of corporate social responsibility they're going to pursue, and what kind of the social activity they're going to pursue. So overall, when we talk about mission statement, it is a long-term plan of the organization which will provide direction to all the people who are making plans in their specific areas. So mission statement will help the organization to design their strategies, to design their goals for different departments and for their organization as a whole. Like we have different types of goals. When we talk about short-term goals, so these are plans for less than 1 year, mostly for their sales of the year, what type of target they want to achieve in this year, what type of advertising activity they would want to do, and mainly the goals are for targets or goals are for 1 year. Then we have medium term goals. These goals are or plans are for 1 to 3 years, that in 2 to 3 years what targets they want to achieve, what they markets they want to target, what new innovation or things they want to make, or what type of necessary changes they want to do in this 2 to 3 years. And the long term goals are for more than 3 years, and these are your expansion plans, your many other activities, or your targeting new markets, and many other things are there in your long term goals.